Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 11 of the D-Hoop University Podcast. This is your boy, Daryl Harris, also known as the Hoopster. And this is the second live stream of the week. We might really be cooking with gas now. I wanted to do this for a minute. The capabilities are in place. The seam is there, the play is set, the defense looking like they about to get sliced up. And I'm here with my boy CeeLo, man. We coast to coast with it right now, bro. CeeLo, talk to him, bro. You already have been, but
Man, it's the late night over here, man. We in Philly. We got some talking to do. I'm ready to cook it up, man. Chef
first time
CeeLo,
on the
chef.
pod.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's the bio of this pod. It's essentially, I want to read it just so I get it right, matter of fact. And it's going to take me too long to find it, but it's covering conversations that, revolve around sports and sort of with the collegiate nostalgia of it, just kicking it with homies. And CeeLo's prime example, man. We connected at UNLV kind of not initially, but like, I remember seeing you one of my first couple of days there, and we like both remember that story. And then like we didn't really start becoming homies for like a while after that. And then after we did, we was definitely
Yeah.
locked in. So from UNLV to wherever we go from here, man, definitely one of the bros. And you wanted to talk about this NCAA tournament, man. Final Four is on Sunday, I believe. No, is the first games tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the games start tomorrow. I think we got Auburn and Florida first at
Let me get
six
that
o'clock
right.
Eastern time. Yeah, we got Auburn and Florida, 6 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. We got Houston and Duke. I think it's what? The 9 o'clock games? Eastern time?
Basically, yeah. Side
Yeah.
note,
So
which time zone you prefer from a sports viewer perspective?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I like I like the West Coast, bro. I like the West Coast because it's like
Right.
you get the games early, and then you can go out after the games go off. You get what I'm
Facts. No, the
saying?
night,
Like
yeah, yeah, the night's
if
not
you want
over.
it, yeah. If you on the East Coast, the West Coast primetime games is coming on at like 10, 11 o'clock. Like, if you really want to watch that game, you kind of got to plan your whole night around it, which on a Friday night or Saturday night could kind of mess up plans. So I kind of like being on the West Coast, being able to get the games early. That primetime West Coast game is coming on at 7 or 8 o'clock. It's going off at 10 o'clock, and you got the rest of the night ahead of you. So I definitely kind of like that.
That's all I knew, man, until I went to Baylor and I was on Central Time, and I was like, this ain't bad, but the Lakers come on at 9, 10 o'clock. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going off until midnight. And it's funny. Now I'm working with a bunch of folks who are on East Coast time, and I get it mixed up all the time. I'm like, man, y'all think I'm slow dragging because it's almost 11 o'clock. I'm just responding to the email. I'm like, bro, I'm
Yeah.
up and at them too, though.
Yeah,
But
nah, I
nah,
feel it. I feel it. It's definitely been a transition for me because it's like I grew up East, spent what 6 years on the West Coast. Now I'm back East. It's definitely a transition, especially when I prefer that time of day a little bit more than I prefer this time. So definitely a
wish
transition.
I wish there was a bit more regional representation in the Final Four, but we got Duke, Auburn, Florida, and Houston, who are all sort of
Yeah, we're pretty.
southeastern programs,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the players are from all over. So
yeah.
that's not per se the case, but I do think the styles translate. It's funny, man. That's the big story to me. And then I want to hear whatever your takeaways mainly were from the tournament too. But this was the first season without the Pac-12. This was the first season where this season felt really different. NIL has been a thing for a couple seasons now where players don't have to sit out for these transfer years. And on the previous episode with JB the Ticket, we were talking about how each team kind of is a snapshot of a different method that can succeed, but they are using it to succeed. For example, like Duke, they have all the freshmen. They got elite recruits, possibly some one and dones, kind of following the Calipari model. And Duke, that they've been doing that for a good 10 years now too, since Tatum and even Kyrie and a bunch of these, dudes been in there for a season and coming out. Cooper Flag, almost a lock to come out next year, but Florida's a team it's an actual team. They got the right coach, they got the right point guard, they got the right big men. People came around. I forgot where Clayton was from. Clayton was at a kind of mid-major school before he ended up at Florida. It's they got their own story. Houston is just the athletes. We got those dogs. Like we sort of
Houston,
smash mouth style.
man, Houston play a lot of defense, bro. Like that's one thing that I love about Houston. Like when I watch teams like Houston, even if you remember UVA back when they were good a couple
Mm-hmm.
years ago,
Yep.
teams like North Texas, Drexel, that like
San
good
Diego
defensive
State.
teams, that San Diego State, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
definitely. They got to the championship playing ugly ball.
yeah. Yeah. That was when they had Lamont Butler. They had what's the dude named Jadon Ladie? Them
Yeah,
boys,
yeah, yeah, bro. Who was yoked
them
up?
boys was playing strapped down deep. Yeah, he was a husky dude. He was a husky dude.
Yeah,
Like
nah, bro. Looked
man,
like he was about 26,
I
27.
like I like that kind of smash mouth defensive ball. It remind me of them Grizzlies when they had Zach Randolph and Tony Allen and the boys. Like that's the kind of gameplay I
Hmm.
like.
So I kind of want to get into that game a little bit more. The last team note to mention was Auburn, and they have one of the oldest starting lineups that we've seen, to be this successful in a long time. And that's another reflection of what's different right now with the college game is that players are staying more. They are saying, like, you know what, if I can get a little something, something, I might as well either maximize this run that I have and do what I can, get my degree, get, set up for after college, all of that, or I need to just find the right situation for one season. Like shout out to
Yeah.
that boy John L. Davis. He was at Florida Atlantic last year, and he was on Arkansas this year. Calipari. I thought they were kind of going to go a little deeper. They didn't, but he's kind of just like, man, oh man, I got to find one spot, one program to get that season that's going to get me in the draft.
Glad you brought up Florida Atlantic because guess what? When you talk about Auburn, guess who Auburn just beat? They beat Michigan, and guess who also came from Florida Atlantic? Golden Vladislav. He was the big man for Michigan.
Wow, that's true.
And when you bring up Florida, you talk about Will Clayton. Guess who's beside him? It's the
Go
other guy,
ahead.
Elijah Martin. And guess where he came from?
Oh
Florida
man,
Atlantic.
all the boys. So look, bro, it's almost.
That's
Are
the
we gonna stay right
trio.
here?
That's the
We gotta.
trio. Them guys left the mid conference. They left.
Yeah,
What conference is that? Is that the AAC, the
yeah, I think
American
so.
Athletic Conference?
Yeah, I believe so.
They left and they all parted ways, and all of their teams had pretty much more than successful runs. Like you got Michigan, who just fired their coach last year, get a first year coach, and guess where they at? They
That
pretty
boy
much
Dusty.
in a what
They were in the
they lost
conversation.
in the
They were
Elite Eight.
close. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
close.
You got Arkansas who overachieved. Calipari's first year in Arkansas, they overachieved, go deep. They was a bottom feeder in the SEC, made a deep run, and then you got Elijah Martin on Florida doing this thing with William Clayton. Like,
It's a double-edged sword though. So that I think that the consensus is that, like, we want to see good games. We want to see at the end of the day, and it's always cool when a Cinderella team makes the run. But the Cinderella team, it doesn't have a happy ending most of the time when it's a Cinderella team. So it's kind of like you get to the end and it's like, oh, of course Duke beat them by 33. Like,
but I'll
but
be
it's go it sucks because with the transfer holdout year no longer being a thing, players are like, yo, I'm out of here after one season. Like, I believe it was if not UCI, what was the program with the manager?
The
Was that
manager?
yeah, this season that was making that got everybody's attention? Was it Drake? Not Drake. It wasn't Drake. It was you know what I'm talking about, the dude everybody was calling him Big Aura and all of this and that.
Oh, you talking about the guy from McNeese.
Yeah, yeah,
McNeese
McNeese
State.
State.
Big
Bro, the
R, yeah.
McNeese State coach and the manager fool.
Went to
Gone
North
already.
Carolina State.
Gone already. Good for them.
No.
It's just kind of weird. Like everybody's just packing up shop
Bro, I
out the
got a bigger
door.
story for you. Robert Morris, a tournament team, small conference, whole starting five put their name in the transfer portal. I got another story for you. What's Scottie Pippen's son name? He played for Michigan, put his name in the transfer portal while Michigan was still winning in the tournament. It's like, bro, what's
What is
going on? The
happening?
transfer portal? The transfer portal is bro, it's kind of creating a mess. Like, is it a good mess? Maybe we still early in the stage of like transfer portal and NIL, so we kind of gotta see. But it's like, if you're asking me, in a way, I feel like all of this is kind of messing up the tourney because we had 14 teams from the SEC go to the tournament, which is the most that one conference has had that many teams go to the tourney. And when you look at it, it's like, I feel like a team like Boise State that was really good in the Mountain West, which is like a mid-level conference. You got a team like North Texas that had really good seasons that I kind of feel like got snubbed in favor of bottom feeder SEC teams. Like, looking at the tourney, you had 7 teams from the SEC go out in the first round. And the majority of those 7 teams that was a first round exit just so happened to be in the bottom of the SEC. So it's like, did the committee kind of get it right when
It's weird.
they made this tournament? And I will say you have to give them some credit because they did get it right in some aspects because they got 4 number 1 seeds in the final 4. So that means they at least got it right at the top. But at the bottom, we kind
I
of
think it's
we kind of got an argument.
I think a quick fix, if I'm just spitballing, and of course they got to go have, you know, legislation and they got to vote on it and whatever the process is. But I think a quick fix is like, all right, look, bro, never again. 7 team maximum from one conference. You know, that just came to me
Who said
as you were saying
7?
that. Whatever the number kind of might be, but like we got to put a cap to where I don't want to hear the argument of, oh, but maybe you already know the deal. 8 at most is coming out of this conference. So the whole conference can be undefeated, which is impossible, but that could be prevented possibly by an idea like that.
Do I do like the idea of putting a cap on how many teams can make it from a conference, but with with these power conferences expanding the way that they've been expanding, particularly like the last year, it's kind of hard to put a cap on it because you don't know who's going to go to the next conference the next year. Like, for instance, the Big Ten and the SEC, I think they both have 16 teams. So with them having 16 teams in the conference, it's hard to put like a definitive cap of 8 teams on it because we don't know how that might affect them.
No, I
But
believe it. I mean, you kind
uh,
of can look at the
but
college
I
football
do.
model too, where they got the at large sort of the new expanded college football playoff, where it's like, look, 2 of these teams, they might get smoked, but they're gonna get in there. And that still does apply where if you win your conference tournament, you're gonna make it out of those mid major spots, but might need just like a few more, it seems like.
And to be honest with you, I think the realignment of the Pac-12, I think it will kind of restore that balance of
That's needed.
power.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Because they will
because
be
I
back
think
next season, I believe.
yes, the 2026 season, if that's the season you're talking about.
Yeah, hopefully that's 25-6, like end of this year. But right, I know it's gonna be a different conference. Well, like Gonzaga's in there in the Pac-12. They'll have I can't
They
even
going
tell you the rest
they gonna
off the
add.
top.
They supposed to add Colorado State, Fresno State, Utah State, San Diego State, Gonzaga, and you already know they have Washington State and Oregon State that's already in the
Left over.
Pac-12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
like the
they
Pac-10 or something right now, or they had to hit the minimum of like 8 or 9 or 10 or something, but they might have it now.
exactly. And I've heard things like potentially UTSA going over there, which is the Road Runners. You got
They
North
could,
Texas,
and
the
if not
Mean
there, they
Green.
might go to
So
the Mountain
you
West.
got
And you're right, bro. You're right.
yeah.
That's
What?
what was missing because so for example, let's just say that happens this coming season for next year. The Pac-12 is now a conference. We now we'll have representatives out of there. We'll have teams that are playing just in there. We'll put some respect on those teams' names more than Gonzaga playing
Exactly.
St. Mary's and Sacramento State and these teams. But along with that,
Exactly.
you just named like 4 schools from the Mountain West that are ditching going to the Pac-12, right? Well, that kind of sucks. No, I'm rooting for the home team for the Rebels. That also just cleared the lane for a team like us, a Reno, a Utah State, who's already been in the tournament a few years, a New Mexico who was in the tournament this year. It kind of opens the floor for y'all to now breathe a little bit better, and
And
one
get
of
that
y'all can make
conference
it out.
championship to get an
Right.
automatic bid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's more attainable. Um,
Exactly. And I like
and
it.
my
Like
last, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I like it because it's like UNLV. I feel like we both went there. We have all the makings to be a good basketball program. Like the summer league is at our home arena. We
Everybody
have the
is, man.
history.
Team USA, freaking.
Yeah, we have the history. What's keeping us from being at the top of the Mountain West? I don't know.
So, we got the new coach now. We got a new coach, this
What
boy
is his name?
Josh
Okay,
Pastner,
okay.
and his first impression was the right one. He sounded like he had it right. And when we were talking about players ditching in the portal, I was going to mention how it's a bummer that we lost DJ Thomas.
Good
Were you
job.
there? Yeah, we lost D-Don Thomas, man. And that kind of, the part that doesn't sit with me is like, all right, we had you for 2 years, fresh out of high school. You was, all freshman team your first year. Second year, I think he was like third team all Mountain West, but the team didn't really get better from his first to second year. So he had more responsibility, but he wasn't playing more effective with that because the team really didn't get better.
I
So it's
will
like
say
now
he got hurt a little late in the season, so
he
he
did.
missed a
He
few
also did.
pivotal games.
Didn't have him for the conference tourney whatsoever.
Yeah.
So with the part that doesn't sit with me is like, all right, man, you done took your licks over here. You done kind of got beat up. Now you got a feel for the game. Now you were ready to be an upperclassman, you're a veteran college player now, point guard. Now you're ready to really be a part of why a team is winning, and you gone.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get any return on investment from 2 years of backing you, supporting you. But by all means, I'm pro player at the same time. It's just the big picture element still. And he went to LSU, and LSU just brought in like 4 or 5 for, big
You
name,
gotta
whatever you want to
think.
call it, portal
You
people.
gotta think
That his
about it.
spot is not guaranteed over there. But it's a big opportunity, and that team can offer him a team like that with a budget like that
Exactly.
is more than the entire NIL fund right now in a Mountain Western Conference team. So it's just the playing fields aren't really even yet, and that is what it is. There'll always be haves and have-nots. Um,
And it's crazy you bring up the fact that the playing field is not even because I think I was talking on the phone with one of my homies and we was like, bro, the way this NIL money is kind of coming in, they might have to implement salary caps. They might have to implement like contracts where it's like if you sign at this school, you got to be here for 2 years. You can't just up and leave because your stock high.
it's more is coming for sure because y'all want to be semi-professional. Well, we got to treat it semi-professional as well.
Exactly, bro. Like at this point in time with NIL money in like in a situation, bro, these college cats like What's the guy? What's the guy that got drafted by Portland that opted to go to the G League instead of college? It's like now that the NIL money is in play, it's kind of almost a no brainer that you go to college over
No, it is, bro. It is,
over
and
the G League.
that's why the G League Ignite team folded. Scoot Henderson,
Yeah, Stu
G
Henderson.
League Ignite folded. Because they weren't developing. It was a mess. It was a slight mess, but players still came out of it. Like Scoot's doing his thing. Matas Buzelis for the Bulls doing his thing right now.
Yeah,
Um, Jalen Green was a G League Ignite product, I believe. As was there's another one that's like at the top of the Kaminga. As was Kaminga. So it did a thing, but right, all those people took the option that was going to pay them, but they
yeah.
probably all would instead take a season of college ball, getting probably the same amount of money with the college experience and March Madness and
To be honest, them dudes would have got more money now with this
oh,
NIL
for
money.
sure,
'Cause it's
bro.
like
Yeah.
you would have got that. Man, so many
Man,
endorsements.
flag, bro. And this can transition us into some Final Four predictions because it's a hot take. I just went big on Duke last episode. I love Maluwak. He is such a difference maker for that team. If there was one team built to give Duke a run for their money, it is this physical specimen of a team that Houston is, man. If they can ugly it up, get to the hole, maybe put Maluwak in foul trouble, flag in foul trouble, this ain't a runaway.
I agree with you, but one thing I will say, Duke is also a team that could kind of get ugly. They're
They can't.
also a
No,
very
it's stout.
defensively
Yeah.
sound team. They're a big team. And it's like, I like somebody in the front court from Houston like Jawan Roberts, but it's like, can he handle Cooper Flag and the rest of that Duke front court? Also, it's like, I've watched Houston a lot this season. Some games, they are a little shaky on offense. You can
No,
afford to be
shaky
shaky
is
on
fair.
offense against Duke because
Right.
Duke
Yeah.
can
You
bring
go
the
down
intensity
8-9,
on the defensive end.
it's gonna get slippery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it gotta come. Is Houston gonna be able to score if it gets into that kind of matchup where we gotta trade buckets? And as much as I like Houston, as much as I want to root for Houston, I really don't think they can kind of keep up with Duke if it's like a 5 minute stretch where the game kind of go to a we gotta trade buckets. And that's kind of what concerns me. Like you got Proctor, he's out of his mind from three.
He could nipple.
Yeah, like man, this might
It's gonna be tough, but
it's gonna be tough.
my betting mind is kind of like, hey man, don't run from Houston, bro. It's on tape. We've seen it all year. They not getting ran on. And if one team was to challenge this, talented young Duke squad, I feel like they
Yeah,
could. But you saw
yeah.
that post talking about the whole team runs a sub 540 mile.
I did see that for Houston, right? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that this morning. I saw that this morning. That's crazy.
Yeah, nah, you got to respect that. What you think
Yeah.
about? I thought that Auburn win was actually a little impressive. I didn't think they were gonna make it out of the last round.
It was you know me. I kind of root for Michigan, so it was definitely an impressive win for me. Because I was kind of expecting Golden Vladislav and Danny Wolf. I was just like, it's the front court. You got two big names from Michigan in the front court. You pretty much
And they were
from
ahead, so it was like just steer it
yeah.
home.
I thought Michigan would kind of take control of the game, but they didn't quite do that. You had John A. Broome step up. You had what's his name, Pettiford. He stepped up and Auburn was just too much. Bruce, uh,
Now
amazing
this
coach.
is this is interesting too because these are conference foes, if you will. Yeah. So there's some familiarity. There's a lot of commonalities on their schedule and who they faced and how they performed against so and so. And what was successful when this team did this. Well, if we did this to them, we got to do this to, sort of
Yeah,
geometry and preparing for this game, opposed to this Duke Houston where it's kind of like, yeah, y'all haven't had a taste, haven't seen each other yet. So this will be different where the Auburn one will have some familiarity. Florida was my pick. I cap you not. Florida was my pick. I didn't make a bracket this year just because I wasn't really locked in the whole way and I wasn't putting nothing on it. It was like, it's fine. I've kind of done it almost enough, like to
yeah.
where I think I didn't last year, maybe either too, but I ended up watching way more of the tournament than I would have predicted. But I kid you not, kid you not. You can ask my anchor Brian Loftus. I went around the news. I was like, "Who you like?" Like, I like Florida, bro. I like Florida. It's a team.
And I didn't even watch too much Florida basketball, but they did impress me in some of their tournament games. Like if you ask me who was on my bracket, bro, I did two brackets. I had St. John. St. John lost early to Arkansas, and then on another bracket I had Duke. So Duke kind of got my other bracket standing tall, but St. John really messed me up. I thought Rick Pitino was gonna outcoach Calipari, and that's not what happened. It showed like Calipari showed that he was the better coach, and he showed that his team was the more athletic team. Um, One of the reasons why I kind of thought that St. John, not to get off topic from the Final Four, but just real quick,
Now we about to move on.
one of the reasons why I thought kind of St. John was gonna have a good run was because obviously Rick Pitino is a good coach. He got a lot of his wins and his championships kind of negated because of the little scandal that happened back when he was at Louisville. But I mean, they had an athletic team. They had what's the guy that won Big East Player of the Year? RJ, great player. They won a lot of ugly games. They won a lot of crunch time games. I thought,
In the portal.
yeah, yeah, because I don't blame him. Did you see what happened?
Yeah. Why did he not? I don't know why he wasn't in the game. I don't
Patino
know why he
benched
wasn't.
him. I watched the game. Patino benched him. He took a couple of crazy shots. He shot 3 for 17 that game against Arkansas. Yeah, he may have shot you out the game at points, but it's like it's just star player. He won biggest player of the year. You gotta let him go out on his shield. You get what I'm saying? Because you never
I
want your
do.
star player to quit and turn into Ben Simmons. That's what you
And
don't
that's
want.
why, bro. Yeah, that might have been the last time he saw Patino. Was on the trip home.
Yeah.
Bro said, "Man, I ain't going to class tomorrow. Yeah, I am done. Take
And
me
it's
out of
like,
here."
do you really blame him if you the star player and you kind of got this team or kind of was the leader to help bring this team to a
Oh,
place
I
where
can't.
they
Nah.
haven't been in a while? I honestly don't blame him. I honestly don't blame him.
I mean, if anything, salute. He kind of kept the professional on the bench. He wasn't.
Yeah, he could have walked to the locker room.
Yeah, he didn't start pouting. He didn't throw no tantrum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Also,
then it's on because then it's the coach's fault y'all lost because you got to call a timeout right there. You got to.
exactly. You got to call some
This ain't the
time.
pros. This ain't. I don't know. Like soon as he started this herky jerky, oh hell no, no ref. And I watched it back. He was standing next to the ref.
Yeah, yeah. Rick
It
Pitino,
happens.
Rick Pitino made some mistakes, but I do want to ask you: did you hear about Merlin coach leaving and going to Villanova?
Did and they were saying they were dissing. They were there was some chatter about what is this like Nova? This is beneath you or like y'all are going backwards or what's your thoughts?
To be honest, my thoughts was like realistically, I didn't understand the move and like until I did a little bit more research and I kind of found found out that Merlin is like a top 4, top 5 school in the Big 10, but in terms of NIL money, they were like one of the
Mm.
bottom 3 teams in NIL money in the Big 10
No,
and he
it
was
makes
kind of
sense. Now it makes sense.
and he was kind of frustrated like we're overperforming but we're underperforming in terms of getting this money. So I need to leave and go somewhere where go to a historic program where I can probably get that
Yeah, I need the
NIL money
resource.
that
I
I'm
need the
looking for to bring.
resources, and I can make it happen.
Exactly. And another thing that
Reese,
was
you think Lil Reese
interesting
is out of there,
was,
out of
and
Maryland?
and
Now,
correct.
you think Angel Reese brother out?
Well, I don't know if you talking about Julian Reese.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I'm not sure if Julian Reese is out of there, but I don't know if you saw this, but uh on Sports Center maybe like a couple hours ago, Derek Queen just announced that he was going to the draft.
And I think
So
now with the process, yeah, a couple of names. Dylan Harper declared. Yeah,
so I think I definitely think Merlin they they got to do some research, man. I did see that the coach from Texas A&M, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they said he went to Maryland, which Texas A&M had a pretty good season. They made it to the
yeah,
tournament. Do I
with
think
those
they was?
trash
I
jerseys.
kind of think they was one of the teams. Yeah, I kind of think they was one of the bottom feeders in the SEC that really didn't deserve it. But they played tough in that loss to Michigan. So, uh, I don't think I don't think him leaving was really a good idea, but I mean, he's going to Maryland. He might think it's a better a better situation for him. Leaving all that NIL money that's in the SEC is potentially not a good situation, but we'll see how it plans out. He might know something that we don't, so we kind of gotta wait and see, let that play out. But it's a lot
Yeah,
of
Buzz
Maryland.
Williams.
Yeah, Buzz Williams. It's a lot of interesting things going on with the University of Maryland. So we're gonna see how all of these transitions kind of affect them, and we'll see, just like you kind of alluded to, we'll see what Julian Reese do if he decides to stay, go, or even go to the draft because I think he had a pretty
He low key could, man, especially
yeah
as a big with a fundamental foundation. That gets the job done, man. Like people overthink some of these things, man.
yeah
The, and of course, it helps that he's got some name value. He's got some name value, so people are going to pay attention. The sister doing her thing. So you look at like a Jared McCain. Some of these folks, Jared McCain didn't really get evaluated like the player he really was because his profile was more popular than whatever people really were studying his game off of. And then he
yeah.
goes doesn't get picked in the lottery. And first month of the season, he was easily the rookie of the year, on pace to become rookie of the year. So it's
Bro,
kind of like, don't overthink some of these things. If you see a player that's demonstrating a translatable skill,
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I like Jared McCain's game. I've been to a couple 76ers game. One game in particular, I went to the Sixers Clippers game. Man, Jared McCain looked good. He definitely impressed me. He made me like, you know me, like
nah,
don't
I
cop.
scooped him up in fantasy. I was,
Yeah.
I was a little hurt when he got injured, man.
Yeah, he played nice up until that. What was it? An ACL injury he had? Yeah, like he was definitely playing nice. Like rookie of the year, he still might win it. Did he get past that minimum game threshold
Not at
before?
all. Not at all.
Okay,
Bro played
okay,
like
okay.
6 weeks. Yeah, he got hurt in like November.
So yeah, I don't even know who's up for the rookie of the year candidate at this point.
It's gonna be Stephon Castle.
Oh,
I
down
said
in
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
down in
I
San
said it on here
Antonio.
and
Yeah,
said it in December. I was
that's
like,
right.
nah,
That's right.
it's
That's right.
it's Castle. But this rookie class is actually slightly deep. We're not gonna stay there, but like I said, Buzelis can hoop. The Wizards got 3 rookies that can hoop. Keyshawn George. I know you tune into the Wizards, man. Them boys kind of get into it. I wrote
Bro.
about them. I wrote about them on NBA.com. They got some pieces. Hey, Sar is you can exhale because bro is legit. Not that he's gonna be the best player on a championship team, but you have a center that can stretch the floor and play this modern era. That is one of the toughest spots to fill.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I like what the Wizards is doing, but we way too young. And you want to know what I'm more excited about with the Wizards, bro? And it's kind of hurt me a little bit that they start trying to win as of lately. Like they still been losing, but they've been winning a little more than I've liked. But it's like, bro, I really want us to get that number one seed, and just so we can have that highest odds on the lottery. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Well, I think
I'm really hoping.
now I just have to plug in the charger. I think that the way the odds work now, the bottom 4 teams all have equal odds. So I get what you're saying about wanting just to get them as many ping pong balls as you can. But I think the bottom 4
Exactly.
teams all get that equal percentage of
You think all bottom four get that 14%?
yeah. It's changed up to where just to make it a little more unpredictable, even though that Wembanyama one was 100% predictable. But
Yeah.
yeah, it changed a little bit to where the bottom 4, it's not, yeah, it's not reverse to where the one has the most. They grouped it like that a little bit for some, you know. So yeah, it'll be them, Charlotte, who else down there kind of kicking. But
You
I'm
got the
curious to
Utah
see if,
Jazz.
yeah. Now, Flag's coming out too, man. I kind of want to wait to see, but he's just not going to make that announcement while the tourney's still going. He's trying to get to it. But
Yeah. He definitely got to wait till it's done. He definitely got to wait till it's done. That's a
while we're
that's
here, bro,
go
let's go
ahead.
ahead and get into this who's hooping, man. Who's hooping? And I got one for you, and this one might hurt. Denny Avdija. This brother is losing his mind right now.
He just had a triple double. Like what was it? 2 games ago? I was looking at the stat sheet like, yo, Denny Avia did that.
No, man. Hold on one second. Let me get this handy for you because his numbers over the past month. I'm also playing him right now in the fantasy championship, and he might single-handedly be the reason why I lose. I kid you not. This boy's losing it right now in Portland. And it's sort of opportunity for one. Chauncey Billups been kind of doing this thing over there, but it's who stepped out. He's just seizing the moment, seizing the opportunity. Aiden was on funny games this entire season. Scoot had a better year than his rookie year, much better, but not ready to hand over the keys. Anthony Simons is kind of going. He's kind of plateaued already. Where we know you can hoop, but what's the ceiling? And what's the ceiling with you being our elite? Like, that's not where you're not taking us deep into the playoffs. And Shaden
Yeah.
Sharp has kind of fit next to Denny in a way that is really potent, bro. Denny over the last month, 25 and 10 are his averages. 25 and 10 with 5 assists, and he's got a couple triple doubles in that stretch as well.
I know he just had a triple double maybe like 2 games ago.
Yeah, on the
I don't think
first
it was the
against
last
against
night's
Atlanta.
game.
No, it was on Monday. It was against Atlanta,
Yes.
32, 15, and 10. And that was in a
Yeah.
win.
That boy hooping. That boy
I'm
hooping.
saying, man, that is literally the definition of this. And I like this segment because, hey, especially when you got a little something on the game, you really tuning in. And A, there's not enough platforms that do just talk basketball that, or whatever sport it is that is, that gets a lot of attention. So with who's hooping, that's kind of like, hey, look, I saw this and it stood out. And Denny, man, Washington had him for the last. So that's why I wanted to highlight that SAR pick is finally a sigh of relief because you still got ways to climb out of there. But let Detroit be Exhibit A. If you get one piece right, in an impactful piece at that, like they have with Cade and like Alex Sarr can turn into. Now it's just about getting the side dishes. It's like, all right, we already know who making the turkey. Now we just need, who gonna bring, let's go get some mac. We can jimmy up the rest of Thanksgiving dinner. But we got the turkey, we got the ham, whatever that might be. But prior to that, I think that just the culture in Washington, the Bradley Beal era, if you will, it just wasn't serious. So how can a guy like Denny, who's got the potential, came in with a lot of, hype, because I want to say he's from Israel, and is one of the few players to make it to the NBA where he's from, and you saw this what he potentially brought to the table, but the team just wasn't serious, and but at the same time, you're 3, 4, 5 years in now, so you know what to expect, you know what it feel like, you come into your own, you've gotten better, but that is lined up with a more competitive conference, a coach that maybe is just connecting with you a little bit better or just letting you do what you can do versus you trying to listen to young guys and vets that haven't necessarily achieved anything and you don't know where you fall in line and you just got to play finally. Same with Josh Giddey. You just got to play finally. And with some of that relief, and it's like, oh, hold on, we got something.
With the Wizards, I'll be honest. It's like I like some of the moves they made. Like I really like the move of bringing Marcus Smart in because he's one of those like energizer bunnies. He's sort of like that enforcer. He can play that role.
And it's
Um,
just him and Middleton, because that was the article. It was like, hey,
yeah,
they've got these young guys, and now they've actually added some
some
vets
veteran.
that can really positively just shape these dudes.
They got two championship vets, one in Chris Middleton and one in Jordan Poole. Like we gotta remember that Jordan
That's
Poole played
right.
a pivotal role in the
Because I
Warriors
was,
championship
oh,
run over the Celtics.
he sure did. And I was about to correct you and say that Marcus Smart didn't win one with Boston, but I slept on Poole. No, I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But even then, Marcus Smart went to the
Right,
conference
100. Come on
championship
now.
a couple
He
times. Like
man, he
he
got more playoff games than that entire roster.
exactly like he might didn't win one, but he's been 3/4 of the way.
It
And
could
and
tell you a
and
whole lot. Same, and that was kind of this. I did a story about Detroit earlier in the season too, where I was like, "Hey, they got these young guys, yes, but we can't underestimate the residual pieces. Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris. You got some adults in the room now
yeah, and then they
that
got
can
that
just be like,
enforcer and Isaiah Stewart.
man, they got it, and Ron Holland and
They gonna do the
and
dirty
Duran,
work.
bro. Duran, I came on here last year and said that, look, man. Let me give Jalen Duren his shout out. Jalen Duren is hooping. I didn't have him down here, but he's hooping, and I say that because tonight he had a crazy stat line tonight. Let me pull that back up. Um, I drafted him in fantasy and let him go early in the season. Jalen Duren tonight, 21, 18, and 6. No Cade. They got the win, and Detroit clinched the top 6 seed in the playoffs. They will not be in the playoffs. They will not be in the playing tournament.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I can't. I said, hey, look, last year I said Jalen Duren has the makings of a modern Dwight Howard. I get it. It's gonna sound crazy. You know what I mean? But he has the frame and just a similar skill set that a young Dwight have. I'm not saying this man's about to be a 3, 4, 5-time defensive player of the year or
Yeah.
first ballot Hall of Famer. Shout out to Dwight that just came through.
Also
Salute.
Melo.
Dwight and Melo going into the Hall of Fame is crazy,
Yeah.
bro. Like, did Wade go in last year?
I'm not sure. I'm not
He
sure.
might, yeah, I think he might have. I know he got the statue down there and stuff, but it's wild to be in like to have seen these fools' whole careers, and now they're going into the
Now they going
hall.
into the Hall of Fame. Now they going into the
Yeah,
Naismith
and they
Hall of
try to
Fame.
comfort the white man, so I feel like that definitely made
Yeah.
him feel a little vindicated in the all-time debate. Like, yeah, Shaq, get off me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm first ballot too, even
Man,
though you ain't got the rings to show.
nowadays people is quick to forget and just like when you talk about the ring, people quick to forget that the White Howard do got one. He got one with the Lakers and he played a big role. So
Come on now,
it's
come
like
on. Hey,
we
you
definitely
hit me.
gotta get we definitely gotta give the White his flowers. Like what he did in Orlando was absolutely crazy. Like he was in Orlando acting different, man. Like it's
I kid you
ridiculous.
not. I thought we could have got Dwight last season and this season still. I thought we
Yeah,
still could have scooped him for some
yeah.
impactful minutes. And we might regret it because that's the one thing that's maybe holding the Lakers back.
They
Um,
once they got rid of AD, they really don't have a big man. I mean, guess the Lakers could kind of rely on Hayes, but not really.
I mean, I'll give a shout out to those boys too because the big three, AR, Luca, and
Good.
LeBron, they combined for 92 tonight. They put up 92 together. Um, Bron was the only one that didn't get 30. He had 27. And that's the template. I think that this team, we'll talk a little more playoffs and All NBA on the pod next week. because the seeding implications are all over the place right now. So it's really going to be a last second kind of photo finish on who gets what spot and how the matchups are determined. So I don't want to even talk about it too much yet. But you look at a Golden State who's gaining confidence. They got their first win over Denver in 2 years tonight. They don't play a traditional center. Oklahoma City got past half the year without playing a traditional center, even though they now have a healthy front court. Except that didn't get the job done tonight against Houston. Houston got a statement victory over them that we'll talk a little bit more about. That's what I want to kind of highlight before we get out of here. And their styles, and we saw the Lakers. I think the Lakers exposed the Nuggets about a month ago when they played. You probably saw some of it, but they forced Jokic into like 6-7 turnovers. They helped heavily off of everybody. They said other players will beat us, but we can't let Jokic get the easy ones, and we can't let him get comfortable. We got to just hit him all game. Golden State did that tonight. A couple teams that beat Denver using sort of the same mold. And basically getting back to the, us not having a center element, we shall see. And it needs to happen. But I think that when the postseason does come and it's time to go mismatch hunting and it's time to sag off of who we don't consider a threat, that's when players like Chet become really valuable because you can't stretch the floor still. But teams might have to go small to match the lineup. If the Lakers are going to go, if they're just going to say, look, man, we're going to roll with Rui, Bron, Finney Smith, Luka, and AR, that means we got 4 bodies at 6'8", 6'9". Everybody can switch. And then, AR that's just going to stick on the guard. But offensively, it's dang near 5 out. Who are you helping off of? And if y'all got a big out there, trust and believe we're going to drag him out to this pick and roll. And we're going to attack the mismatch. We're going to find a way to get past. We're going to find a way to use that. So we're going to see some teams have to play chess and be like, dang, we actually can't take advantage of the lack of a center. So we'll see. Draymond is about to maybe win Defensive Player of the Year. And
it's funny you bring up Draymond because I was going to say another small ball team lineup is the Warriors. Like, the Warriors look amazing with Steph, Jimmy Butler, Dre. They look amazing.
that was an episode a couple back. I said it was called The Ghost of Golden State. Because, bro, I love, this is what I love this, bro. Talking NBA, but I'm like, yo, Houston's, Memphis's, even OKC, y'all ain't ready for when Steph goes into that mode in the postseason.
Not even just Steph. We got to remember, Jimmy Butler overachieved and forced his way to the finals twice.
Oh man, and we got to start talking like this because it's legitimately scary that
It's
they
scary.
might have messed around and put back together. And what's crazy, the team that's going to get it done. I watched. Did you catch the Court of Gold documentary on Netflix?
No, I didn't. What is it
I've
about?
it follows like Canada, Serbia, France, Australia, Team USA, maybe one more or so through the Olympics, and culminates in the bronze and in semifinal games, and it's about 6 episodes. I watched it all, and I've watched a couple episodes twice now because, bro, the last 2 episodes where they're just slow balling, having the interviews where the players are talking about what's going on in that game against Serbia, where they had to come back from double digits in the fourth, and the gold medal game against Wemby in France, where they were trying to go up. Hearing everybody narrate what happens, and it's really the Steph Curry and KD documentary. LeBron didn't do interviews, Tatum didn't do interviews, things like that. It's really about them. But bro, you will after watching that doc, you just have to put Stephen Curry in a different category. It's like that was a snapshot. It showed that it's 100% still there. He hasn't lost a bit. He hasn't lost one bit of what peak Steph could provide when push comes to shove.
I remember watching those last games. Like he definitely put the team on his back in a major way.
He lost his mind, bro. And it's like he
Definitely
hit
did.
7 or 8 threes in the gold medal game. But like, those 4 straight or 5 straight he hit in the fourth quarter. And he
Insane.
did it tonight. I watched it. 36 tonight against the Nuggets, 7 for 15 from 3. Bro. you
We
feel
didn't,
you feel it.
bro, we didn't even bring up what is it? The 52 he dropped against the Grizzlies?
Yeah, 51 and 52 the other night. Dude, I'm saying, man, it's in this team now. So, you look at their 2022 championship team or 2021, which 2022, I believe. You still had Clay. Clay wasn't Clay, but you still had Clay. You had Dre. You had Poole. You had Wiggins and Looney. You know what I mean? Basically, that was the squad that ran the table.
Yeah.
This year, you still got Steve Kerr on the sideline, first of all. And Kerr's in the documentary, and you get to just see the understanding that he has of Steph. It's so crazy, bro. But you still got Kerr, still got Dre, still got Steph. Now you got Jimmy Butler. Now you got Kuminga. Now you got Pajimski. Now you got Moses Moody.
Exactly.
That's all he. You could tell he was getting frustrated because he's like, y'all, I just need a little bit more, and we could make something shake. And it's like you could see the spark again because he's like, oh, we got it. So I think as Lakers Warriors in the conference finals, of course, the seeding may prevent that from being a reality. But I think that it's one of those two coming out of the West because those veteran teams, they understand LeBron knows what it takes to get past Steph. Steph knows what it takes to get past LeBron. Jokic knows what it takes to get past anybody. That's it. The rest of these teams don't know what it actually takes
And I
to get
absolutely
4 rounds into the playoffs. And Luka now also has a feel because he led Dallas to the finals. But it's just like, I don't think that without proving you have done it and can do it, that it's going to happen until I see it. OKC, I think one more year away. Go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say, piggybacking off what you said, I agree with what you saying. I don't think it's OKC year. Don't think it's the Rockets year. The Grizzlies, they just got rid of their head coach. I don't think it's their year. I mean,
No, they punted. They just
yeah,
punted on the season. I don't
yeah.
know what happened.
I don't know what that was. Like, obviously, it
At the
just
same
looking
time,
at
they're
it,
going to be low-key dangerous. Who knows? But yeah.
from the outside in, it looked like it's some internal problems. We'll figure that out maybe during the off season next year, whatever. But whatever happened, I don't think they was going to win out anyway. I think it's down to the 3 teams that you just named. It's going to be down to the teams that already have that championship pedigree. Jokic, Steph and the Warriors, Ron, Luca, AR and the Lakers. I
Yeah,
mean,
JJ.
yeah, we just gotta hope, man. I would me as a Westbrook fan, I would really love to see the Nuggets go on a big run, but as we saw the other night, man, your boy Jokic had a 60-point triple dub, and Westbrook kind of made two boneheaded late game mistakes. And I don't even want to slander Westbrook, but
Nah, bro, I got on here and talked about that whole game for 30 minutes because,
that was
A,
kind of
you
crazy,
can't
bro.
forget Oak Dog smoked the bunny
He
with
did.
about 30 seconds left. That also kind of would have been the finishing touch. It
Yeah.
was like that. Remember Tim Duncan missed that gimme against the Heat in like 2012 or 2013 or 14, and it was one of those where it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed this one, and that's the one that mattered. But
My biggest thing about Westbrook smoking that layup is like you really didn't have to take it. You could have dribbled it out
dude,
and took the
whatsoever,
foul.
bro, I talked. That's what I talked about on here by myself. I was like, they get the turnover. For one, I criticized Ant for not being aggressive enough to that double team. If you watch that Netflix documentary, Steph Curry could give a damn about the double. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, but also his teammates, like literally the shot where he hits the heave over Batum and somebody else that basically was a dagger before he went night night. compare those two, and I know this is like a tangent. That play in comparison to multiple instances in the end of regulation and overtime for the Timberwolves, and passed out of the double team every single time from the end of regulation to the second overtime. And it wasn't until the second overtime with a minute left that he finally passed out of the double and did some action, got it back, and scored. Your teammates also have to know that, look, I get they're doubling you. We still got to find you, though. So Steph gets doubled, crossing half court, 30 seconds left, 40 seconds or so, 6-point game. They send the double. He passes it to KD. Bron is naked with the one more pass to just, he's open, let me just move the ball. Kevin Durant doesn't even acknowledge LeBron. Throws it right back to Steph because he understands that, look, this is what we need to do right now. You need the ball. You need to be taking this shot. I trust you to do this. So I get it, but I'm going to get it back to you. Good stuff, but I'm going to find you. And Steph, he's in the interview, he's like, and when he gave it back to me, it was like, it was too late. I was already into the little boo bop. And
Yeah.
that's how I do. I said, if this ain't getting blocked, it's going in. So 100%, bro. Ant gave it away. I said, Westbrook started coming down the lane like he wanted you to throw him the alley-oop. I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing? Y'all don't.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a bad sequence, a bad couple sequence.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about Houston, and this is gonna be the last thing, because that was a statement victory tonight. The Thunder had 11 wins in a row, and beyond just that 11-game winning streak, they had won 10 road games in a row, which is very impressive. Houston handled those boys tonight. A healthy Oklahoma City. They handled them for real. Up by double digits almost the entire game. OKC cut it to 9 in the fourth quarter. It didn't get any closer than that. And they still lost by 15 or 16 final score. Jalen Green and Şengün combined for 65. Amen Thompson kept doing his thing. He had a couple really, really, really nice possessions on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he might be the Shea stopper. To bring this back to Westbrook, the analogy I've made for Amen Thompson is, imagine if Westbrook was 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah. Man, I really like the Rockets, bro. I like Amon Thompson. I like what Jalen Green is. I like what everybody over there is doing. I like the fact that Ime Udoka, when he got let go from the Celtics, I like the fact that he went to a situation and he's thriving in that situation, bro. I really think
Salute.
like the Rockets, they not ready to take that next step, but I do think they however many
This was
series
huge. This was
they
a
play in.
huge step forward this
Yeah,
season.
however many series they play in this postseason, I think it's gonna be competitive series, man. Like even when you look at what's the guy name that came from the Grizzlies? I'm having a brain freeze right now.
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Like even when you look at him, like he's kind
Short
of
period, he
thriving
gets it.
in this system. Fred VanVleet came over from the Raptors with that championship DNA, kind of being that veteran voice. Like last year, he was
Steven
performing.
Adams.
Yeah, performing well. Fred VanVleet's not performing that well, even like Steven Adams
And
doing what
really
they
it's
supposed to be, doing what they supposed to do as veterans.
yeah. And it's a testament to a little bit of loyalty. Because Şengün and Jalen Green were in the same draft. And a lot of times, players, teams, organizations will move a young prospect trying to sort of overthink what's going on, when it's like, look, man, let your guys play together. Look at OKC.
Look at the Celtics. The Celtics were together for a while. Failed a
And that
bunch of
was,
times in the
thank you,
conference
bro.
finals.
That was another analogy I made on here 2 episodes ago. I said, look, man, OKC, I get it. Y'all great right now. It took Brown and Tatum 8 years, 7, 8 years to finally figure it out.
Yeah,
And you gotta get your bumps. You gotta get your bruises, your battle scars to make you want it that much more. And then it really
exactly.
happens. But
Exactly.
this will be fun to see.
Yeah.
Şengün's got the right mentality since his summer league. I was a Şengün fan. I watched him in summer league, and again, same page with you where we don't think this is the title window. But for that team to be second in the Western Conference a year after not being in the playoffs,
It means something.
you got to tip your hat, and you got to be
Yeah.
on the lookout of like, okay, hold on, they really not effing around. But that's that in a nutshell. Jabari Smith had a great game too. And they got a lot of pieces. The summer will be interesting to see if they will stick with all of them because there's a lot of rumors. There's Devin Booker's and Kevin Durant's and names that people are tossing out. But,
I don't even want to get
Eason,
to it.
Thompson, Jabari, Jalen, Whitmore, Şengün is like, bro, they have a lot of young bodies, and it would be
Yeah.
interesting to see if they could demonstrate just, look, we're going to rock. We're going to rock. We're going to keep bringing in the vets that want to sign and play ball with the money we got to offer. But that's nasty.
And I do think Ime Udoka is going to keep it together. I think he's going to do his best to try to keep that team intact and try to, make whatever additions he make without doing too much subtraction. I definitely got a lot of confidence and a lot of faith that Ime Udoka is going to try to do that. And I know you want to wrap it up. I know we kind of getting to the closing, so I do kind of want to give a couple off-topic shout-outs because we didn't
Nah,
talk
I'm with
about it
that.
much.
Let's
I
do it.
definitely, like we talked about the men's tournament a lot. We got to give
Mm,
some credit to the women's tournament. Like, this tournament, to me, I feel like they continue to further and increase like that good that good spirit, that good energy, and continue to improve that electrifying atmosphere that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark brought the last 2 years. Like when you look at what's been going on, sadly, Juju tore a ACL, but it's like Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong, they did their thing. When you look at Dawn Staley, won the championship, she kind of trying to become the men's UConn
she got
team,
some
but
dogs. She
for
got
the
some
women's,
dogs
yeah.
over there.
She got Chloe Kitts. She got Raven
Yeah,
Johnson.
yeah,
What's the girl that was hitting the threes today? Tahina Pow. Like
yeah.
she got some dogs over there. She coaching her ass off, man. Even UCLA, Lauren Batts played a good game. They got smoked by by UConn tonight, but she's been nothing less than spectacular for
They
UCLA.
sure did.
Even when we look at earlier in the tournament, like it's been some stories in the women's tournament. We didn't kind of put that light on them, so I want to put that light on them right now. Haley Van Lith started her career in
Yeah,
Louisville, left
yeah.
Louisville to go to LSU. Things didn't work out. She hopped in the transfer portal, go to TCU, put TCU on a great
Yep,
little
on the map.
run. TCU end up having to play the
Elite Eight.
team. Not even that. They ended up having to play Louisville where it all started at for Haley Van
So,
Lith. She had a good game against Louisville in the women's tournament, beat them. Beat Notre Dame. Also, Notre Dame, they got, what's the girl name? Hidalgo. They
yeah,
got
yeah. Doggo,
uh,
Olivia, and she's
Olivia.
staying,
Yeah,
and
she's
that's good.
staying.
That's been good for their game as well, bro. You
Exactly.
smoking? You smoking stuff right now because that was
The women's
this is
tournament,
real spill. This is legit.
the women's tournament was great this year, so I definitely want to put the highlight on them. I wish we could have spoke about them a little bit more because I honestly, this year I've watched women's college basketball more than I did the men's. Like I was talking about earlier, like the SEC putting 14 teams in it kind of took some of the steam away from the men's tournament,
Yeah,
but
it
the
just kind of
women's
wasn't
tournament,
fun, right?
yeah, it was very predictable. But the women's tournament, they definitely kept it electrifying for college basketball. Like I'm enjoyed and I'm satisfied that I was able to catch this many women's game, and I'm definitely I'm definitely excited and anxious to see what the championship game versus UConn and South Carolina holds. Like it's coming up soon, so and I'm excited to see hopefully Juju come back better and better than ever. I'm excited to see what she do for next year. And I know we gotta wrap it up, so I don't wanna give too
No,
many shout outs.
no. Before you do the next one, bro, that was that's the real deal, man. Because same last season sucked me in, and I definitely watched more of the women's tournament last year than the men's tournament, hands down. That for me translated right into following the WNBA like I never did before. I played fantasy WNBA. I'm all the way locked in, literally now. I'm playing with them on 2K, like. So I wish I did catch a little more. The men's team did suck me in. There were some stories to follow with the whole Duke and whatever. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna get familiar with these girls. And what's crazy to me about the women's tournament in the WNBA is that Paige is gonna be in the WNBA in next month.
man. And she's
That is
gonna
an insane turnaround. Like last year when they were putting all this on Caitlin when she kind of started a little stall, I'm like, well, y'all realize she just played a full college season,
yeah. And I only had like a
same as
month,
Angel.
two off before she
Like,
had to jump right back into the WNBA. Her
all right,
and
so
Angel Reese had great long seasons, great long careers.
right,
So I
and
mean,
went from November, October, which is really the beginning of the academic year. You getting ready, cleared through. Now I'm a professional. By the time I would be like ending the school year, it's crazy.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
nah, go ahead. That was clutch, bro. Good shout out.
Nah. And I definitely, I gotta give a shout out to the hometown, man. Hockey. Ovechkin.
Ovi.
Tonight he just tied Wayne
Yeah,
Gretzky for
yeah,
the
yeah,
most
yeah.
goal scores all time.
Wasn't
We
it a
got it.
winner? Wasn't it a game winner too?
No, it wasn't a game with it. They won 5-3, but he definitely scored. Like coming into that game tonight, he was 3 goals away. He scored 2 goals to tie it up, and
To tie it.
now next game he could break that record. So I would definitely want to give a shout out to Alex Ovechkin, one of the greatest goal scorers, the great eight for DC. Um, Shout out to the Washington Capitals, man. I remember my first year in Vegas was the Golden Knights inaugural year, they first year in the NHL, and it just so happened to be they played a hometown team in the Stanley Cup, Vegas versus
Yeah.
the Washington Capitals. The Capitals got the best of them, so I definitely wanna kind of give a shout on that front to the hometown team.
No,
We
I'm not
looking
gonna lie,
good. We
bro.
number one.
I'm a super duper casual, and I actually enjoy getting to like not know for real what's happening, but just have a team that I want to like be biased towards now. With the Knights, but my boy Sasowski, I might have saw the push alert from ESPN or something on social media. But my boy Sasowski at the desk was like, "Bro, Ovechkin, he's 2 away from Gretzky." I said, "What the?" Well, I said, "Damn, Ovechkin's still out there. That brother getting to it. Like,
Yeah,
salute.
bro.
I ain't even know. I ain't even peep.
You want to know what
Like,
make it
yeah,
even crazier? Early in the season, Ovechkin broke his leg. Mid-season, came back and he's still on track to break the all-time goal scoring record this year. And the man, what is he?
were they when he got hurt? Were they acting like that might have been the end of his career type?
Not necessarily,
Nah,
but
because
it's
they
just
know what he
like you got
about.
to think
Yeah,
he 39, 40 years old. He kind of up there in age, so to break your
for
leg at
sure
this
is.
point is like you don't know how he's going to come back. It's kind of almost like whenever
That was a
kind of
Kobe.
LeBron had his
Yeah.
little injuries, it's like it's scared. Like, oh, is this father time knocking on the door? Like LeBron and like Ovechkin is showing us, nah, not yet. We could kind of push that father time stuff to the curb. We still got a lot more
Yeah, we
planned to
got
do.
yeah, that Brady, the
Yeah,
Brady syndrome. Look, I'll let y'all know
exactly,
when I'm done.
exactly. So these boys is balling. So I definitely just kind of at the end of the episode wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to Ovechkin and women's college basketball. We definitely got to shine some light on those sports. Those is sports that kind of is a little underrated nowadays. But we got to make sure we do our best to keep the light on them, keep
Hey
them
man,
thriving.
this boy CeeLo came through the pod.
Yeah.
First appearance in the classroom said, "Look, I got notes. And I'll come in front of the class. I'll say what I got to say. You know, y'all got questions. You feel me? I got answers."
Brother, talk to me.
Nah, we gonna definitely connect on here more frequently now because
Sir,
this was money. Yeah, I told you let's try and do like 30, 40 minutes. So I already knew, man, because this is overdue to just chop it up anyway.
definitely overdue. I appreciate you for definitely having me on here, man. It's long overdue. I'm glad we got a chance to connect, especially with me being way over here on the East Coast. I'm definitely more than excited. Hopefully, I could bring my East Coast audience to add to it. So,
I'm saying, bro,
got
I
to make it
appreciate you,
bigger and
man.
better.
Nah, bro, and that's literally the beauty of this thing too, bro. It's like we ain't nothing but a screen away from me from whoever it needs to be.
That's a fact.
Um, and we gotta keep that network going. So y'all do y'all homework, which is to like, follow, interact, leave the show a rating, do something. We don't ask nothing else for y'all. It's pass or fail. Do your homework, tap in with the gang on socials, and I look, man, like my granny say, I can show you better than I can tell you. It's two live streams in a week. We coming. It's that time of year where we got to talk about these games in a real way. So hop aboard, or are you missing out?
And I'll be more. I'll be back more with baseball, soccer. You know I like the soccer, so we're gonna have to kind of get into that a little bit too.
My brother, man. Hey,
We got a lot in store, brother.
let me hit this button so we can chop it up still. You feel me?
For sure, for sure.
With all that said, till next time.